So like Jesse said, my name is Tim Jones. I was born and raised in Farmington, New Mexico until I was about 20 years old. I moved out to Newport when I joined the Navy back in '98, and been here ever since, planted some roots, and just a lot of stuff has changed from out here. So back in 2015, my mom had mailed me a package that I've been asking for about 3 or 4 years. And I was out there in 2011, and I said, hey, can I get, this stuff? And she's like, I sent it to you like 6 months ago. I was like, no, you didn't. And it was the tail end of my trip, and we didn't talk like for the rest of the week, or for the rest of the day, and that kind of stuff. But so 2015, I get this package. She told me that she was mailing it, and I just got home from work and opened it up and put everything out on the table, and there was a wallet, death certificate, a death certificate, and some jewelry, like a chain with a medallion on it, some crosses, a pocket watch, a knife, and all that. And it was my father's death certificate. When I just turned like a year old in May of '77. He passed away in July of 1978, and shortly after that, a couple years after that, she remarried, and when I was about 3 or 4, and then after that, I was removed from my dad's side of the family, so in it was all this stuff. Like we never talked about it. I never got set down and said, hey, your dad died when you were this young, whatever. And just kind of found out about it on my own. And I remember finding this manila envelope with this wallet and all this stuff in it when I was like 15 or 16, and I just kind of ignored it. And I find it's in my possession and everything, and I look at it, and I just kind of put it away because that's what we did. We kind of didn't talk about it or whatever. And a couple months later, my wife and I, we planned a trip down to this hostel down in Georgia for a week. We're making a long road trip on it, and I was looking for my headlamp and was going through some stuff, and I found all this stuff that she had sent me, and I went through it again, and I grabbed the chain with the medallion on it. It was a St. Christopher Protect Us. And I didn't really know what it was, so I Googled it real quick, and he's the saint patron of travel, and I just kind of felt like that's what I needed. At the same time, I hadn't been on a road trip in a long time, so I threw it on, and we made our little road trip. And then for the first time in a while, like I started thinking about him, my dad, my family, and all the stuff that I don't know. I met my grandma. At this time, I met my grandma like twice, my grandfather twice, and one of my aunts and uncles, my father's family a couple times. And so I was just thinking about him quite a bit, and just pondering on it. We come home, and I take the medallion off, put it back where I found it, and again, just didn't really think anything of it. And through social media, one of my aunts, my dad's sister, she found me on Facebook, and she just sent me a message real quick, and we chatted for a little bit, and she sent me an I love you every once in a while, happy Veterans Day, happy birthday, happy holidays, whatever, and that was really it. And there's no friends request that was sent. It was like all like hardcore stalking on my end. I found all my cousins and all this stuff, and it was weird. They're this Hispanic family, and I'm like the whitest kid. Man, it was just weird. Like I didn't feel like I really belonged or whatever. So, we communicate just very small amounts, and then my wife and I, we went to taking a trip to Peru in May of 2016, and our first week was going to be in the jungle. We were going to be working with some plant medicine, and we wanted to set an intention about going there, and that was my intention to try and open my mind and my heart about trying to connect with his family. And so I threw the medallion on, and we went and did our thing. And by that last night, I felt something happening inside of me, like something was opening up and getting ready for this process to meet his family. And so then in September of that year, we went for our trip in May, and then in September, two of my aunts came out to Newport for a day. My cousin was, I knew about her. She was in Boston at a school there for like a year or so, and never made any contact with her, just the usual stalking. And, she's gonna come to Newport one day, but I couldn't make the trip out there. But it was weird. So she was graduating, and they wanted to come out, and I hadn't seen them in 14 years. And so they come out, and I'm expecting them at the house like at 9 o'clock or something, like 9:30, and they text saying that they're at the creamery in Middletown. So I like fly down there, and I walk in, and there's these two ladies. They just turn around and look at me right when I walk in, and it was pretty intense. And I'm pretty sure I put the medallion on at the time, and we connected. They met my wife, they met my kids for the first time. Well, two of them for the second time, but my son, or no, they met all of them already. Whatever. So we talked, we connect and everything, and whenever we'd have our Facebook messages, my Aunt Georgia would always say, love you, Hito, and I was like, all right, have a good day, whatever. And it was just, I couldn't say it yet. It just felt more like an obligatory I love you if I said it, and I just wasn't ready. And I wasn't sure if I did love him, but I knew that I did not love him, So they left, and my wife and I were talking about it more and more, and I was like, I've got to get out there. My grandma was like 80 years old, and she has like really bad arthritis, and she's like wheelchair or walker bound and all that stuff. I was like, I've got to get out there. Because one of my worst fears was like her dying and not being able to see her, So we went out there, and we went out there for like 10 days, and we connected with this family, this like amazing Hispanic family. I mean, it's huge. I mean, we got there, we met like family member after family member, all these cousins, and just people like, oh, you look just like your dad, and all this stuff. And it was just really, really intense, and it was like the best experience of my life. It like changed my life. And I had his wallet. When my mom sent it out, his wallet was there, so I carry his wallet now, and I wear the medallion and everything. And we saw my grandmother, and it was intense. We all cried and everything. And the last cousin that I met, his dad had died too. So my grandmother lost two of her sons and basically two of her grandsons. Like, I was removed from the family, he was removed from the family. I mean, he saw them periodically, but he wasn't removed like I was. And we had seen each other once when I was 15. It was super, super awkward for like 5 minutes. And he had a photo of us the last time the family saw me. It was the two of us just standing next to each other. And I was told after that photo, that's what it was the last time I saw him. And he would always ask my grandmother, why can't we see Timmy? Why can't he come over? Why can't we play with him? And she would always say, don't worry, he'll come back. And pretty much a lot of the family like watched me grow up from afar. They respected my mother's wishes about me being not around the family. And I found out when we were out there, my grandfather would like drive by my high school like at lunch break or after school to see if he could see me. And I had an uncle that whenever me and my buddies would go to lunch, at school, we'd go to this like certain gas station, and he would see us every once in a while, and everybody just said like, we know he'll come back, and it's been a really good couple of years, seeing him and connecting and filling that void that had been there for a long time. And I just feel like the whole journey started with my mom knowing that package and with the medallion and everything. And the other day I was practicing this, I was just going to end it as that. I was like, that's the saint, the story is the medallion. But I feel like my grandmother's faith that I would come back, and my family's faith that I'd come back, and them watching me and all that stuff was like the saint of the story. They're amazing people, and I really wouldn't have it any other way. If I had to go back and do it again, I would keep it the same, because I don't think I'd feel the gratitude and the happiness had I known this family for so long. So it's been a really good adventure. with it. We're going out there hopefully in August, and I have a cousin coming out, and we talk all the time. And just before this, I had this one of my other cousins. She had this picture of my dad and his brother. They're standing in front of a 1956 Chevy two-door wagon, and it was just them. And you can see just like the middle half, or about the middle quarter, third, or whatever of the car. So I text my cousin. I said, "Hey, do you know what kind of car this is?" And she said, "Hold on." And then I get a text from this number from New Mexico, and there's this, pristine, clean 1956 two-door Chevy wagon. Just absolutely beautiful vehicle. And so I sent it to Jen over at Anchor Steam, and she mashed them together, and I got it put on my forearm this afternoon. It's been a pretty intense day. I was okay until I got off the chair, and I was like, this is like so much going on in one day. It's like too intense for me. But this is just a big deal for me because I don't really talk about this. My wife knows, and some of my really close friends know. But as far as that, it's been pretty closed off, and I just really appreciate everybody being here. Thanks.